Hey everybody. Here you're looking at both of my battery chargers, or at least my smart chargers anyway. On the left is a Maha Powerex C9000 Wizard 1 charger. On the right is my Crosse technology Alpha Power BC909. Or well, that's 900 and a 9 after that. That's just the actual model number. It's the BC900 series. But it's the newer series that has the corrected firmware. I'll get to that here in just a moment. But anyways, I'm going to do kind of a little comparison between these two chargers based on my experience with them so far. Now, I've had this Crosse charger for about 2 years. You can tell it's been used a lot more. There's a lot more dust on it from where it's been sitting. The Powerex charger, or the Powerex charger, looks practically brand new, because I've only had it since June of this year, and here it is September. So I've only had it for about 3 months. And here are my Linmar 2700 milliamp hour nickel metal hydride batteries. These are all 8 of them. I've had these cells since November 2012, or December 2012. Can't remember exactly when. Sometime around that time period. When I first bought these batteries, they performed absolutely beautiful. About to see 2.5 to 2.6 amp hours, sometimes 2.7. Pretty typical for these kinds of batteries. And my cameras will last 2.5 to 3 hours tops of constant shooting video per charge. And I use these batteries practically most of the summer to do my time-lapse videos of thunderstorms, sunsets, clouds, that kind of stuff. They've been cycled pretty good over the amount of time that I've used them. And it's getting to where they seem to be self-discharging a little bit faster. Now, keep in mind, these are not actual LSD cells, or low self-discharged or pre-charged cells. The high-capacity batteries are very hard to find like that. I think the biggest battery I've ever seen that was a low self-discharge was either 2400 or 2500 milliamp hours, or more or less 2.4 or 2.5 amp hours. So anyways, these batteries are getting to where they're not holding the charge as long, and the voltage is not quite as high as it would normally be. So I run these more or less I run these batteries through the discharge cycle on this charger to bring them down to about 1.1 volts or so. And I chunked these in the freezer last night in a little Ziploc bag. That's a way you can actually refresh your cells. And it seems to work, at least in my experience. So I went ahead and froze them last night. They actually sat in the freezer from about, I don't know, midnight last night till, 9 o'clock today. So they've been almost 24 hours in the freezer. And I let them thaw out for a pretty good while. They're barely even cool now. They're about room temperature now. And I'm going to go ahead and run these through the refresh cycle. 4 on the Powerex charger and 4 on the Crosse. But before I do, I'm going to just give you a brief comparison of the user interface on these chargers. Now, if you notice, this Crosse is compact. That's a good thing for travelers, because you can pack this charger up and it comes with a lot of accessories. It comes with, let's see, 4 AAA cells, 4 AA cells. This one came with 4 1000 milliamp AAAs and 4 2600 milliamp AAAs. It came with some C cell adapters and D cell adapters. Came with a nice carrying bag. Tons of things that come with. And this one came with 4 Powerex 2700 milliamp hour batteries. I'm having to use 2 of them right now on my camera because, of course, of this. As I mentioned, you can see the user interface on this charger is very simple. You have buttons to select a compartment, and this charger can tell you the actual status of each compartment at a time, all at once. Now I'm going to pop in a sample cell, or 2 cells for that matter. Let me get rid of this glare for you. So I'm going to go ahead and pop in those two cells to activate the charger. It tells you the voltage, and by default it will want to charge at 200 milliamp, as you see. You can press current, and apparently it decided to do it anyway. That's the only bad thing with this charger. Sometimes it doesn't recognize when you press a button. You can do up to 1,000 milliamps, or if you have the cells like this, up to 1,800. Go ahead and pull the cells back out to reset the charger. Let me go ahead and show you some features it has. I'll hit mode to cycle the modes. You got discharge, discharge refresh, which is the refresh function, the test function, then back to charge. Now if you notice, when it does discharge, when it discharges cells, it charges them back up, or at least that's what I experience when I run the batteries through the discharge cycle. And I'm going to show you this charger, what it does. Now this charger, before I go ahead and pop the cells in, you'll notice that there's a lot more on this display and a lot more buttons here. Well, actually not really, but you notice there's a lot more on this display. The only disadvantage with this charger, at least with the display, is it only shows you the status of one compartment at a time. It has to cycle through all the compartments that are in use. It has to cycle through them over and over again, and then you can have to press this slot button to actually speed up the process to get to the cell you want to look at. But this charger is very advanced. So we're going to pop in a battery here to show you. Now I'm only going to pop in one. Now you notice the display lights up. It's asking me what I want to do. Go to charge. I can do refresh, analyze, break in, discharge, or cycle. So let's say I want to charge this battery. I'll hit enter. I have to select the charge rate. So let me go ahead and just go down to, it goes from 200 milliamp in 100 milliamp increments all the way up to 2000 milliamp, which is 2 amps. Now you notice this charger can only do, the Crosse can only do 2 batteries at 1.8 amps. This one can do 4 at 2 amps. It's a definite advantage there. Okay, I showed you charge, so I'm going to pull this out. And it's funny, it's not wanting to reset. There's nothing in there. There it goes. Now basically, if you pop in a battery, it will if you don't mess with the charger, it will default to 1 amp charge. So let's go ahead and go to refresh, analyze. You press enter. You set the charge rate again from 200 milliamps to 2000. Let's say 200 just for now. No, how about 1,000? And now you can set the discharge from 100 to 1,000, and you would press enter, and it would get started. Now, of course, it would show you the progress and capacity, the time duration, and everything else. Now, let's go ahead and show you break-in. Press enter. You have to tell the charger what the capacity is of your cell. You have to know this. Now, this cheap-end Rayovac battery is only 1,400. Not a whole lot. You press enter, and it automatically starts. Now basically, if you read the manual, it'll tell you what it does is it charges the cell at a very small amount and overcharges it actually to try to forcefully break in the battery. This is typically what you do with batteries that are brand new or batteries that are not performing very well at all. More or less, you've tried to refresh and you try to freeze and you can't get the batteries to do very good. So then you'd run a break-in cycle, and it takes about, I'd say, 36 to 48 hours to complete, depending on the capacity of the battery. It takes a while, and if that doesn't get your battery going, then you might as well just chunk it, have it recycled. But anyways, I'll go ahead and pop this battery one more time to show you cycle. You just press cycle, set charge rate, discharge rate, number of cycles, which, this goes up to 10 or 11, 12. Okay, it goes up to 12. So let's just say enter. Okay, I'm going to pull the battery out. So now you've got to see kind of an idea of what these two can do. But the thing is, this charger here is more advanced because all the functions it has versus the Crosse, this one has a lot more features. But I'll show you one kind of a disadvantage that this charger has right off the bat. Let's say you're wanting to either charge or refresh some batteries or whatever. For example, like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be refreshing these Linmar batteries. I'm going to put 4 in this charger and the other 4 in this charger. That way I can get all 8 done at once. So I'm going to go ahead and place 4 cells on this one. And get you a good view of the display. Get the glare out of the screen here. Now I'm going to pop these cells in. And I'm going to try to count how many buttons I press. Cells are in. 2. Hit that button 2 times. 4 times. So a total of 6 button presses. Pretty simple. Now let's go to this one. Now I'm not sure if I'll be able to count while shooting this video how many times I have to press a button. If not, I'll just do it when I edit this video for YouTube. So I'm going to go ahead and place the cells into their compartments like so. Now, the cool thing about this charger is it has a light, but you can't cut it off. So that's why I got this index card laying around. So I'm going to pop these in and try to count the number of times I press buttons. Cells are in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that was 16 times for refresh. And that was leaving the current settings at their defaults. So, that's a big difference between, I believe, the 6 times I press a button on that charger. Big difference. And just think, on this charger, I changed the default currents. This one, I left the default currents. Just from estimating in my head, if I would have changed the charge rate to 2,000 charge, 1,000 discharge on each compartment, I would have had to have done, I believe, 56 button presses versus the 6 on that charger. So that's one definite disadvantage with the Powerex chargers. had to press a lot more buttons to manually set each compartment. If you notice, when I on this charger, I held down the mode button and I was able to set all 4 compartments at once. So definite big advantage right there. Now I'm going to show you another disadvantage with the Powerex charger. You notice when the camera or my eyes are looking at it from this angle, all the parts of that display appear to be lit. So you see there's a bunch of 8s and everything else is lit. That's a real disadvantage with this display. You get to be directly over it to be able to see what it says. Now mind you, it does have a stand. I can just prop it up on the stand like this, and that does help a bit. But again, if you get back at an angle like this, everything appears to be lit again. So you practically got to be looking at it just like this. Now if you notice with the Crosse, I'm way back here, and I can see that the left display says 427 milliamp discharge refresh, while on that all I see is a bunch of stuff lit up. So anyways, let me go and show you something here. I'm going to cut this light out. Now of course that light is still on, but if you notice here, that display is very bright. Notice my camera's adjusting to it. Look how bright that is. Anytime I'm doing like a refresh cycle or break-ins with this charger, as I mentioned, it takes a few days, up to a few days. So I have to place an index card over it. First I have to set the charger down to its regular level, and then I have to stick an index card on it to block some of the light off. So a switch would have been nice here. So yes, this is getting to be more of a random kind of video, but I'm going to explain a few more things about these two that I can tell you right off the bat. Is with this charger, with the Linmar batteries and even the Powerex batteries that come with, this charger doesn't seem to fully charge the batteries. This charger will get my Linmars up to about 2.5, 2.6 amp hours. It'll get the Powerex batteries up to 2.7. That's what they're rated for. And of course that's what the Linmar's rated for too. But this one here with the Linmars, it'll only charge them to about 2,000 milliamp hours. That's how much it'll put in them. And its own Powerex batteries would be maybe 2.1, 2.2 amp hours of charge put into the charge capacity put into the battery. So it seems like this one cuts out a lot earlier than this one does. Now for doing refreshing, they seem to be pretty accurate on that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to let these batteries run through the refresh cycles on both chargers, and I'll do a little comparison to wrap up this video, and that'll be probably tomorrow that I'll be finishing this video up. Okay, finally wrapped up the refresh process on these batteries. Had to take this cell out early because it was extremely hot, like burning hot to the touch. So I immediately went and got a cool paper towel and wrapped it around, trying to get rid of some of the heat. That's not the first time I had these cells get real hot like that for some just weird reasons. Sometimes I still wonder if this charger here still has the issue that the older chargers had, with just letting too much leak through current through to the batteries when supposedly it's not supposed to be heavily charging them. But anyways, I'm going to show you the capacities here. After refreshing the batteries in this charger, we got them up to like 1.46 volt, which is full charge, and around 2.4 amp hours per battery. Now this one, 1.41 volts, 2.2 amp hours. As you notice, I'm having to press slot here to alternate through the slots. So we're getting around, what, 2.2 amp hours. If you notice, this one is the voltage on this one, on this charger, is lower. At least that's what it states anyway. So while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and grab my multimeter. And I'm going to set it to the load test function. It has a function for testing batteries, either the 1.5 volt batteries or 9 volt batteries. Anyways, there's the meter, so you can see. Here's the cell I pulled out of this charger, and it reads 1.41. Let's grab this cell here. Let's see what it reads. 1.39. Notice, this charger is not fully charging. I mean, it's close, but it's not fully charging. I'm going to set this cell back here and set this one back here. You know exactly where they come from. Pull this one out. So right around 1.4. 1.39 to 1.4. So it's still questionable whether this charger actually fully charges the batteries to their complete potential. I mean, 1.4 volts on a rechargeable is pretty good, but anyways. So 1.4 there. We're going to test another one of these out of the Crosse charger. .43. So as you see, the batteries coming out of the Crosse have a slightly higher voltage, indicating that they actually got a little bit more of a charge on them. So anyways, good to wrap up this little overview here between these two chargers. The Powerex charger has a lot of features in it. The Crosse is simplistic. I mean, there's not a whole lot to it. It does have the refresh function, the test function, a cycle, more or less cycle test, discharge, that kind of stuff. That charger seems to put more of a charge into the cells versus this one. Even its own Powerex batteries, it will only charge them to like 2.3 amp hours, when this one will get them up to 2.7, which is their rated capacity. So anyways, they're both good chargers. I commonly use this one when charging only like 4 batteries at a time. I mean, at like 1,000 milliamp. But sometimes if I want to do refresh cycles, want to test the batteries, do break-ins, that kind of stuff, I'll break out this charger and use it. So anyways, any questions or comments, feel free to ask, and thanks for watching.